Clemson football is a little over 2 months away, but that's not going to stop us from talking about it. Come on, y'all. So right now, I just posted a link within the comment section here in the live chat. And if you would like to join me live, talk Clemson football, I hope you'll click that link and we'll dive right in just a second. If you're new to the channel, I'm Brian, just talking Clemson football, stirring the pot a little bit, having some fun. If you like that sort of thing, I hope you'll subscribe. It is free and it is the easiest way to support the channel. I do appreciate it. Now, for anyone who's going to call in, this is one thing that I want to throw out there to you. We're going to keep it clean. We're not going to start insulting one another. No profanity, no dirty talk. So I'm just going to have to, well, cut the link. So I don't know how long I'm going to do this video, but I just wanted to hop on here. The other one, the other night, actually did quite well. I mean, it didn't have like a ton of views, but there was a lot of engagement. So, yeah, just going to hop on here and talk about Clemson football. So that link is in the live stream right here in the chat section. So click it and you can come on and we can talk Clemson football. We can talk college football. So y'all go ahead and click that and we'll get right to it. So until one of my first callers hops on the line here, I just finished up a video just a few moments ago, and I hope you'll go check it out. I talked about the biggest question mark for the 2025 college football season. This is not clickbait. This is actually my biggest question I have for the Clemson football team. I will not rehash the video because, of course, I want you to go watch it. But it is a legitimate question that deals with our offensive play calling. And you should go dive into that. You should go look up the stats. And it's one of the biggest, it's the biggest thing I am holding my breath over in the college football scheme of things for Clemson. That didn't even make sense how I said that. Got Will Man in here, love from Florida. Good to see you, my buddy. Good to see you. Evening, my brother from another mother, Coastal 79. 904 Hurricane. Good afternoon, Brian. I'm finishing up a brake job, but listening. If you're a mechanic, or if you're just doing that for yourself, awesome, my friend. I had to get the brakes changed on my vehicle around Christmas. It was expensive. Chase Henderson, my old buddy in here, big supporter of the channel. Chase, I see the symbol beside your name, but just to tell everyone, that means he supports the channel on a monthly basis. And I appreciate it, my friend. Got Bobby, he said Bobby Durkins. Anyone who don't know Bobby, doesn't know Bobby, yeah, trust me. He's there. Chase has been around that long. That long. We've known each other for half a decade. Chase, I hope you'll get in here. The link is in the comments section here. And I'm going to repost it if you want to hop on. Got Army 3275 in here. Good to see you, my man. Jaden Butler is getting in here. Jaden Butler is getting here. Now, Jaden, you can probably hear me. I can't hear you right now, but I want to just say this real quick. You don't have to show your face. You can show your face. It doesn't matter, but I'm about to bring on Jaden. So, folks, the first call of this show is Jaden Butler, who requested, he was in the last video I just finished up, and he was like, hey, I want you to do a call-in show. And I said, just because you ask, I'm going to do it. Jaden, welcome to the channel.
Hey, good evening, Brian. I like what you do. I like you keeping the real in Clemson football. I appreciate that. My question is I'm seeing a lot of media outlets saying Clemson will go 10-2. My question is, those two losses they say is from Louisville and South Carolina. My question is it because of the narrative that we lost to them? Is that the reason why they say we can go 10-2? And same thing for South Carolina, because we played them in Willie B this year in evening, but the last time we played them in Willie B, we won. So I just want to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, I appreciate you joining me, dude. I'm going to add someone else in here, if that's cool with you, and I'm going to answer your question while I add him.
Yep.
Chase Henderson. What is up, man?
Hey, buddy.
It's good to see you, man. Thanks for hopping on. So Jaden's question is this. Did you hear Jaden's question, Chase?
I heard the tail end of it.
Would you, Jaden, would you repeat that again?
Okay, my question is, I've seen a lot of media outlets saying Clemson will go 10-2, and a lot of those media outlets and personal things, I see those two losses will be Louisville and South Carolina. My question is with Louisville, I said, well, first off, we wasn't supposed to lose to them.
Sure.
Well, obviously, because Clemson wasn't ready. We didn't see that coming. My question is, would that narrative would have changed with a lot of media outlets if we would have beat Louisville last year in South Carolina?
Right.
With them, we just couldn't tackle. Lenore Sells looked like a star out there.
Yeah.
With that is we played them in Will B this year. And this evening, my question with that is, how can we? What will the coaching staff step up for that game as well?
I think that's a heck of a question. Here's my thought on it. First off, a lot of the problems that we saw last year was due to a poor defensive preparation. Okay, so we have Tom Allen now, and I think that Tom Allen's going to fix a lot of things very quickly because he has some studs on the defense. He returns 9 starters from last year on that defense. All right, so between schemes, between Tom Allen just being, the guy's proven. That means something. He's proven. The guy is also aggressive. I mean, during his meet the press when he was introduced as the DC, halfway through that press conference, I was ready to run through a wall and go beat somebody up for him. He's that guy. So I think that a lot of the problems that we saw this past season are going to be fixed defensively just because of his persona and his experience.
Right.
Giving up 292 yards on the ground to Texas. I don't see that happening with Tom Allen. Giving up 288 yards to the Citadel on the ground. I don't see that happening with Tom Allen. I think that playing Georgia, if Tom Allen was the head coach, or not the head coach, the DC, I think what happened in the second half, that wouldn't have happened. I'm not saying Clemson would have won the game. I'm saying it wouldn't have happened. I think what happened with Louisville in Death Valley, by the way, Brom can coach his brains out. Right. I respect Brom. He is a coach. He's not just showing up there to Louisville to coach the school that he played at. He's showing up there to do something. And we better continue to take that man seriously because he came into Death Valley and he did something no one had done since 2013. And that's beat Clemson at night in the Valley. Right. He did it. So our eyes are peeled on him. We know who he is. We know what he wants to do. And we know what we must do to ensure that it doesn't happen again. That comes back to Tom Allen. To answer your question on South Carolina, I know I'm kind of answering your question, but not fully, but I'm having to unpeel this onion. The next thing that a lot of people are not thinking about when it comes to South Carolina, and listen, I'm a Clemson fan. I don't like South Carolina. I have friends and family that are Carolina fans, but this deals with just football. A lot of people are forgetting that Dowell Loggins, the offensive coordinator at South Carolina, is no longer the offensive coordinator at South Carolina. He is the head coach at Appalachian State. And I know that they have a new OC. And I know if I'm a South Carolina fan, the first thing I'm going to say is that South Carolina's new OC probably runs the same plays. They have the same approach to the game, maybe even comes from the same coaching tree. I don't know. But I'll tell you this, Jaden, the last time I checked, different human beings, even in the same similarities that they may have, are still different human beings, meaning the adjustments will be different. When those adjustments are made or when those same play calls are made will be a different timeline. Dowell Loggins can coach, former Gamecock or not. He and Lenora Sellers hit a stride like I haven't seen most teams hit a stride in quite a long time. Loggins is not there anymore. So am I predicting that the new OC, which I think is Shula, is going to lay a golden turd? No, I'm not saying that. but it's too. That's going to have to be proven. To me, I'm seeing more of the media saying we're going to lose to LSU and we're going to lose to South Carolina.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's ridiculous when I saw it. I was like, wow.
Yeah. So I just to me, I look at that and I just think that it's kind of a low hanging fruit for some of these media heads just to pick that. Yes, Clemson's going to lose a few games, but that still gives them a road to go to the college football playoff and still be a good team, because look at Ohio State. They lost 2 games and won a national championship. So, but I'm having a hard time buying at least one of those games. Definitely. Chase, you joined us, and I don't know if this is a time where you can talk, but what do you think, my bud?
So I think, last year we were not in as a synced unit, offense and defense, as we had been previously. And, you spoke constantly about how the defense just seemed off, how it wasn't a unit that we are used to seeing, but because of the studs we had on defense, it was making up for the scheme and the play design on defense, which I completely agree. And the best thing for an example would be the South Carolina game. I don't think that had a lot to do with the X's and O's as much as the Jimmies and Joes at that point. Carolina's quarterback is a dog. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. I mean, I hadn't seen anybody shake out of Peter Wood tackle in the backfield multiple times in a game. I think, let the media do what they do. They like to talk a whole bunch, trying to, toot their own horn, saying, I called this then, but it just continues to give Dabo fuel to do what he does. And seeing all the pieces come together, using the transfer portal, but using it in a way that's intelligent and not just a grab bag, grab anything you can, still using it as an opportunity to recruit good character, good quality dudes. I think, 10-2, cool. I don't see us going 10-2. We may have a hiccup, I would say LSU, just because, there's some I'm sure there's some resentment because the last time we played LSU, we stole it from them. But honestly, I don't know if the defense comes out, has an actual scheme, has a coach that's actually doing what, picking up where Brent Venables left off. Good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, because our offense is coming together. I think Tristan Smith, when I saw that we got him and I watched this highlight, I texted you and said, hey, this Joker is what we've been missing. He's going to be the next 50-50 ball. And I pretty much think that he showed that during the spring game with making incredibly contested catches. But, as far as the media goes, man, I just let them talk. I enjoy it. And I just make sure I keep receipts.
Yeah, just create narratives. But one thing I like about Tom Allen has said that we'll be the best tackle team in the country. I think Brian has mentioned that, and probably in older videos, I think. But I am very sold on Tom Allen promising that we'll be the best tackle team in the country. That was a definite issue last year with Clemson.
I'm excited to see, the potential there is getting us back to the Trevor, into Deshaun, beginning of Trevor era. And, now that Riley's kind of getting settled in, he's got his pieces where he wants them. His pieces are getting comfortable with his playbook and his play calls. Man, go ahead, and if you're a betting man, go ahead and start putting some money on us winning the national championship, because I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, this year's the closest year we ever get to it.
Yep, 100%. And it's a lot of people are like, oh, we didn't see this coming. Well, it's because you like to hate on Clemson instead of look at them objectively.
Yeah, I think right now for me, if I can get past the LSU game, and I said this on a show a couple of weeks ago, someone had me on, and it was Eric Boggs at the College Huddle. Y'all go check him out. I'm the Clemson representative on there, so anybody who's watching, check that out and tell Eric I said that you saw me talking about the college huddle. With that said, I told him, I said, look, if Clemson loses one ball game, yeah, of course, no one wants to lose anything. But let's just say he asked me for just a quick prediction. I said, if they lose one ball game, as long as it's not a blowout, it's not the end of the world whatsoever, especially with the new format and so on. For me, if they can get past the LSU game, and let's say they lose it and they lose it by 7 points or less, and LSU goes on to have an incredible season, they're a contender for the national championship. For me, I'm not sweating. I'm sitting there go, oh, okay, all right. They were legitimate. We were legitimate. It was a good ball game. I hate that we lost. That would, for me, especially if Clemson were to win that game and LSU go on to have a really good season, that's when you'll start seeing me become more bold to call a national championship potentially. That's kind of where I'm kind of holding out on for a moment. This is the most special season. Probably the makings of the most special season we have seen in flipping years. Did I'll ask y'all live here, have you read the new Phil Steele digital book?
I think you was online for that. I think you did.
I don't have time to read.
Okay. I remember you hate to read. You hate to read. All right. Well, I'm going to, and I said this on my video the other day because I talked about Phil Steele. And by the way, before I do that, I just want to tell everyone, Army 3275 in there. It's good to see you, my friend. Good to see everybody who's hopping in here. If you want to join us live, you don't have to show your face. You don't have to. But I am putting the link in the chat section. So click on there. Just remember, we want to keep it clean. We don't want to start insulting people. No profanity or, well, never mind. So Phil Steele ranks each individual unit, quarterbacks, running backs, etc. Phil Steele does a pretty doggone good job. He's not perfect, but I think he's one of the most fair in all of college football. Here's where he has Clemson's quarterback room ranked in the country. Number 1. Yeah, Clemson's running back room, he has them ranked at number 31. Now, I like that, and I'm going to tell you why. Because they're young and people are overlooking them. Get to the wide receiver room. He has Clemson ranked the number 2 overall unit in all of college football. He has Clemson's offensive line ranked number 2 in the country. Defense, he has Clemson's defensive line ranked number 2. He has Clemson's linebackers ranked number 8. He has Clemson's secondary, their defensive backs, ranked number 3. I'm just telling you here, folks, when you have that many pieces ranked that flipping high, and then you have a Tom Allen, and then you have a Matt Luke on the sideline, and hopefully we'll see more of the Texas offensive play calling of Garrett Riley versus the other. I'm telling you, it could get nasty.
And where were these rankings at?
So what?
Where were the rankings?
It's in his digital magazine. So
What's the name of it?
Phil Steele. Phil Steele. Let me see. I can send you over the link.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. I'll send it in the chat section. He writes some really good things about Clemson. Now, I had one of the viewers say, I could care less what anyone has to say about Clemson. I get it. But when you start having guys like this guy who's pretty good, who's pretty doggone good, he doesn't seem to just be going along with the narrative to sell magazines. And he says those good things about Clemson. To me, it's nice for that type of recognition.
One good thing with the running backs is we have a lot of talent with them. So a lot of rotation with the first game with LSU. But one thing I like about Gideon Davison, I compare him just like Travis Etienne, just 20 pounds lighter. They had the same speed coming in high school with a 4.4. We'll see what happens when his senior year comes and see if he's an NFL talent. But it's way too early to call that right now. So we'll see when they play LSU, we'll see how that goes with the running back situation.
Yeah, I think the running backs seeming to there's a lot of people out there who thinks the running backs, and by the way, I'm putting the link to the Phil Steele digital magazine in the chat section, y'all. So if you want to look at that and read some of the really good things, you have to buy it. But I like it way more than Lindy's and Athlon, though I'll look at them. Athlon and Lindy's, one of them has Clemson at number 5. One of them has Clemson at number 4. Phil still has Clemson at number 2. So, but the thing I like about our running backs right now is that they're flying under the radar because everyone knows that Maffa's gone. And so what they're doing is they're saying, well, Maffa's gone, therefore,
who else?
Who else? And well, we don't know them. We know that there's some good recruits there, but we don't know them. I'm telling you, between 4 out of 5 returning offensive linemen led by Matt Luke, third-year starter Cade Klubnik, with that number 2 overall wide receiver room, which I believe they're every bit and more, that is going to free up these running backs. I'm telling you, I think it's going to work in our favor.
The people who are underestimating the running back room is they're not really thinking about the versatility of Adam Randall. And I mean, we saw what he did when he got the ball in his hands. He's a different beast. With him back there, we've got a receiver playing running back essentially. And so he's got good hands. He's got good instincts. He's got great reaction. Hadn't really seen a lot of his blocking abilities, but I mean, he's a big dude. I can't imagine him not being successful this season from the backfield for us. I mean, it's actually going to be impressive. I just can't help but to smile every time I think about it.
Yeah, running back room is going to be impressive.
I think that we have a body type and a skill set for every situation, really.
We do, really. We actually really do.
I mean, my only concern with Randall is Randall has been injury prone, and running backs, they do get hurt more than wide receivers. What I could see with Randall is them using him more as get him out in space. Now imagine this, you get the guy out in space, just coming out of the backfield, nothing fancy, not even a wheel route. You get the ball to him, and he's going head-to-head with some undersized guy, and then he takes him. I see that, and then he guns it because Randall is fast. He's big and he's fast. Gideon, on the other hand, young, fast, good hands, can hit David easy. The guy is tough as nails. His yardage would have been much higher in the spring game, but there was some penalties that were thrown that took that away. Now, I know that's part of the game, folks, but what I'm trying to make the point on is that did not help him for the most part. Maybe one of them did get the yardage that he got. So what I mean by that, his numbers would have been higher, meaning he is capable of producing that. He's capable of producing that type of yardage. Of course, Keith Adams Jr., I'm excited to see him because he'll lower his head and pound. So, I mean, feeling pretty good.
We call him there for a reason.
Yeah, they do. I want to say hello to someone, Byron Davis. Good to see you, my man. Good evening, Brian. Love the show and go Tigers. Good to see you. Beautiful dog there you got there in the picture. Got Coastal in here. Adam Randall, Gideon, and Easy. Look out for the running back room. Oh yeah, and there's even more than that. That's the thing about it. I love that they are overlooking our running back room. This is playing out quite well. Anyone who wants to join us, who is watching right now, I'm putting the link back in the chat section. I hope you'll click on it. Well, hold on. I just put the link to Phil Steele in there. If you want to buy his book and let him know that I told you to buy his book, hope you definitely will. I am going to throw this link to join me live. If you want to join me live, hop on here. We'll talk. Let's just keep it family friendly and have a little fun. I want to tell you this. This is totally off the cuff, folks. But I watched Coastal play baseball against LSU in the national championship just a few moments ago. And I know this is totally off subject. I'm just going to sit. Y'all just humor me for a second. The plate umpire threw out Coastal Carolina's coach in the first inning and then followed up by throwing out the first base coach.
Why is my question.
So apparently, now, of course, we don't have the audio, But I was watching. I was pulling for Coastal. Since Clemson got knocked out, I was pulling for Coastal. Coastal's a Carolina team. Yeah, I like those guys. I like their university. I've been to football games down there. I really enjoy it. It's right outside of Dirty Myrtle. But apparently, Schnall, I think that's his last name, told the plate umpire that he had already missed 3 calls. And when he continued to tell him that he missed 3 calls after the umpire told him to go back. Now, by the way, folks, he did not charge the mound, or not the mound, but the plate, and get up in his face and barking and doing all that crap. He didn't do that. He had just told him that you've already missed 3 calls, and just continued to argue from the dugout, right outside of the dugout. He tossed him. Gone. Then he does come out onto the field. The other umpires get in between he and the plate umpire. Then the first base coach comes down. He's not running. He walks down. He starts talking. He's talking. He's talking. He's talking. Then he's walking back to first base. And the plate umpire, by the way, has now gotten away from everything. He's got his arms folded and everything. It did not look good, by the way. I used to be an official, and I'm telling you, you can antagonize the situation, folks. And anyway, the first base coach was walking back up to the plate. Now, I don't know what he said to him, but you just see him make a comment to the plate umpire, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's gone. All in the first inning. Needless to say, LSU won. LSU won. Parker Henderson. What is up, Parker? Parker, listen, your brother's in here. Jaden Butler's in here. I'm putting the StreamYard in here. So even if you don't want to show your face, I hope you will join us, Parker Henderson.
2 words you've been using since, like, I don't know how long, but cautiously optimistic about this Clemson football year. Very.
You know what? I talked to a family member of mine who is a massive Clemson football fan, and he and I are a lot alike in our approach to trying not to get too hyped up.
No.
And he told me last week, he said, I'm trying not to, but I'm telling you, man, this looks special. That's how good this team looks.
It was great on paper.
Yeah, and I know an antagonist would say, well, the game's not played on paper. I do agree with that. I agree with that. Sure, 100%. But man, if I handed you a paper with a roster like this on it, would you not feel great?
Oh, I feel sold on you. I feel sold.
I'd wet my drawers.
Talent all across the board.
I'd be thrilled. So I'm going to put you 2 guys, and anyone else who's watching the channel, hope you'll join us. If you want to join us live, the link is there. Hope you'll hop on. You don't have to show your face. You can actually keep your camera cut off like Jaden, or you can show your beautiful mug like Chase Henderson is right now, drinking out of that Masters cup. Hoping Parker would hop in here. Parker, are you with your parole officer and you can't hop on here? Come on, man. No. Okay, so.
Hey, I'm going to have to bounce off for a minute. I may jump back on.
All right, Chase, good to talk to you, buddy.
All right. See you, buddy.
See you, man.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. So, Jaden, and anyone else, maybe you don't want to get on a call here, but you want to put it in the comment section. I see Army 3275 in here. But let me see. Parker just texted me. Oh, man. That's awesome. He's telling me about his son, Beckham, playing baseball. He was 5 of 6, 1 home run and 2 RBIs, and for the tournament he batted .429, 1.35 pitch in ERA, and a fielding average of 1,000. Wow.
Right.
Yeah, the Braves need him. That is awesome, buddy. That is flipping awesome. Jaden, and anyone else who would just like to comment in the comments section. Jaden, who are you most concerned about? Let's take LSU off the table. Okay. I'll take South Carolina off the table too. Who are you most concerned about with this upcoming football season for Clemson?
I think you said this too, but GT trap game, but
Mm.
winnable. But anything besides GT or Louisville, I'm not really concerned.
Yeah. You know, I was asked that question on the college huddle a couple of weeks ago. Eric invited me on to talk about Clemson football, and he asked me that question, and that was the same reply that I had. Georgia Tech, week 3 in Atlanta.
Trap game. I'm planning to go to that game too.
That's a trap game, dude. That is a trap game. Brent Key can coach, and Haynes King is one of those guys. He may not win you a national championship, but he will ruin people's championship hopes. He is a workhorse. And then, of course, Louisville.
Georgia can vouch for that.
Ask Georgia what a pain in the butt he is. And
8
then
overtime.
8 overtimes. So, and here's a question I'll throw out there to you since you're here with me. You have Carson Beck leaving Georgia, going to Miami. He's having to take the place of Cam Ward. Cam Ward is unbelievable. Do you see Carson Beck leading that team like he led them?
It depends, really. Do I really see it? Yes, but no. We just have to see. If I want
Sure.
to, if I'll be a betting man, no, not really.
I know that when Carson Beck is on, the guy can play his brains out.
Yeah, when he's on fire, he's on fire. But
Yeah,
he has his moments.
I wonder what was going on last season for him. And the reason I'm bringing this up, I know someone would probably say that we're talking about Clemson football here. If the two leading teams for this upcoming ACC season, the two leading teams to make it to Charlotte, is Clemson and Miami. And so this is a question that we need to answer right now, because for me, if it was almost impossible for Clemson to make it right after they lost to Louisville, and then because of Fran Brown and Syracuse, Clemson makes it in. They play SMU. They did what they did, and they won it. But Miami to lose, I mean, it's and in fact, I want to let me go back right here. Right now, Phil Steele has Clemson and SMU. Others they have Miami. So it's kind of a toss up. And the funny thing is, they have Georgia Tech at number 4. So, but for me, I just have a hard time believing. I don't know. I feel like something happened last year, and I know we could talk about a girlfriend, or we could talk about this, that, and the other, and that's the easiest thing. And maybe that is the case. Maybe that's the low hanging fruit is actually, it. But I'm just having a hard time seeing how Carson Beck, if you get Carson Beck and he's on and he has a bunch of people around him that are really good, maybe so.
I can see. Yeah, I can see that. Just narratives. A lot of narratives about.
I'm going to ask you this. This deals with Clemson football. Everybody who's watching, this is a live call-in show, just hanging out here talking about Clemson football, talking about teams that will impact their season. Jaden Butler's joined me here. Case Henderson was just on here just a moment ago. If you want to join me, I'm posting the link in the live comment section. So hop in here, get some quick comments that people's been tossing up in here. Let me see. The ump is the same clown who threw Cam out versus Tennessee a few years ago. Oh, really? Really? I'm going to tell you, man, that did not look good. I officiated for 11 years at the high school basketball level, and I am going to tell you, I worked with people who, 2 of them were being scouted by the NBA, and a lot of them were calling small college ball and then going on to bigger things. I am telling you, folks, that was suspect for me. Obviously, I didn't hear what was said. I didn't. But A manager questioning your calls is part of the game. And then his persona afterwards did not look good at all. So, and I've worked with guys. Now, when I was younger, I made some dumb calls. When I was younger in officiating, I made some dumb calls, and I quickly learned not to do that again. But then I began to work with guys, even guys who had been around for a while. It was like something crawled up their butt and died. And you're like, why did you just tee up that coach? Why did you just throw that coach out? Man, that escalated really, really fast. Now, if a coach looks at you and says, you dumb MFer, and then talks about your mama and something with your wife, he's gone. I don't care if it is the national championship. He's gone. He shouldn't have said that. He knows he shouldn't have said that. Blah, 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 blah. Something just doesn't sit right with me on this one. Y'all team does look really good. I will be pulling for y'all into the playoffs where I hope we meet up. Of course, Army 3275 is a Bama fan. Hard for a Bama fan to admit, but y'all look like a complete team with everything y'all need. But Dabo playing at Bama and being a good Christian man, I always support him. I appreciate that, man. I do appreciate it. Hey, at Army 3275, how long is DeBoer's leash this year before Bama wants to move in another direction? That's a very, very good question. So I have Jaden Butler here hanging out with me. Maybe you want to put some questions in the comments section. I think as we're looking at this season, we're looking at this upcoming season, we're looking at who Clemson will play, who Clemson won't play. But they're going to play SMU. They're going to play Georgia Tech. They're going to play Florida State. They're going to play Louisville, North Carolina. They're going to play these teams. And Syracuse and Boston College. You know, the question that we have to ask ourselves with Clemson's total package that they have, what would it take to get your eyes off of the goal? I know that sounds like a really simple question, but what would it take? Is there something in the locker room that a tendency that you see out of the guys that
Clemson
maybe Clemson beating Clemson? Jaden, what are you thinking there, my man?
Happens too many times. Been a Clemson fan for so long. So many games since, especially 2020, like 23 or 21, wherever that bad season was. It was terrible. Clemson being Clemson.
Yeah. I agree. I think that just really good focus should be a point, and it probably is a point of emphasis for everyone, and just keeping the goal in front of them that, hey, this could be a special season, but the special season is built brick by brick. So right now they're laying the bricks, the foundation of the house right now, even in the off season. They're doing that.
And like you said, like in like previous videos, like, yeah, graduation rates is great and all, but you coach, you're here for football, Dabo. You're coach for the football team and win. That's what you're getting paid for, the big bucks. Like you said, graduation rate is fine. That's great. But you came here to win football games and potentially win a national championship for these Tigers.
You know what? And I know that I've come off extremely bold when I talk about that. It's good for players to graduate. I'm not taking away from that at all. They are a student athlete. With that said, for me, I said this today. I was talking to someone about. They told me they caught my show. I saw them out at. In fact, I saw them at church, and they were talking about the season, and I said, look, here's the deal. I've used this example before. I'm going to use it again, but they really liked it. I said, if I pull up beside a car and I'm driving a Ferrari, if I pull up beside a Ferrari and I'm just driving your run-of-the-mill vehicle, that Ferrari is supposed to blow me off the road. Why? Because it's a performance vehicle. So unless it's a lemon, or unless the driver doesn't know what he's doing, they're going to blow me off the road because they have a performance vehicle. And that's how I look at Clemson. you match them up side by side with every team they're going to play in this regular season, it's hard for me to believe that a Brian Kelly-led LSU team is going to come into Death Valley and win. And a lot of people would start talking about LSU and the roster and this, that, and the other. And this is what I would say to them. LSU always has really good talent. They do.
Oh, they always will.
They always do. They had Jaden Daniels a few years ago, and they still managed to lose games with him.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I remember you mentioned that.
So coming into Death Valley, and here's the thing. I don't think that Brian Kelly is a bad football coach, but I don't believe that in the big games, he has struggled. He is really struggling.
5 games, 5 season opener games. Everything happens for a reason.
And 2 of those, I believe, was Orgeron. It was Orgeron. But the thing about it is I just don't see them coming into Clemson in doing that. And what would be even more insulting is if they came in, they beat Clemson, and then they lost 4 games in the regular season. That's really, really tough for me to swallow. But
just
Clemson has the pieces. Yeah. Going through some of the comments here. Louisville will be tough. That's right, David Wood. Got to stay focused on that one. Got a new Corvette beats them all. Hey, if you go look up a Lucid, Lucid, Lucid. It is in fact, I talked to or met one of their engineers the other day. It is an electric vehicle, and most of those cars go from 0 to 60 in less than 4 seconds, and then they're souped up car. It's like 250K. It goes from 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. Ridiculous. I love speed. I'm a speed junkie. The thing that should worry everyone is Oregon, Notre Dame, Michigan, Texas Tech, Miami. They spent $40 million. We can't keep up. Yeah, I read that about Texas Tech, and I thought that was crazy. That was just nuts. That Texas Tech I think they spent more money than anyone this year. It's crazy. Well, folks, listen to me. I am going to go ahead and end this. Jaden Butler, thanks for hopping on with me. Glad Chase got to hop on and us just talk college football for a little bit. We're just a little over 2 months away from this, but here's the key for me. Let's have some fun with this because sports is a pastime. It doesn't supposed to be something overly serious, even though we get worked up about it. Clemson has a lot of the right pieces. The schedule is in their favor. Let's just hope they use it, and let's hope that some of the bad tendencies of the Tigers we've seen over the past 4 or 5 years are officially dead and gone, because if that is the case, my friend, this will be a special season. Jaden, any closing thoughts, my friend?
No, appreciate for what you do, keeping the actual real thoughts of Clemson football. A lot of the narratives I've been seeing just not as accurate as yours. We appreciate for all you're doing. I've been a good channel, a good supporter of your channel for a long time. Like what you have.
Well, thank you so much, man. Thanks for hopping on. Thanks for always dropping a line and saying hello. Thanks for asking to do this show tonight, because I was just going to do the video before this, but I appreciate you hopping on and just having a good time. Jaden Butler, I hope you have a good evening. Everyone, I hope you have a good evening and a good week. We're getting closer and closer and closer to this season. Folks, y'all take care of yourself, and as always, go Tigers.